it's Texi. Today I thought I would talk about two books that I have read recently because I thought it could be fun because they are kinda on the very opposite ends of things I like. Like one is basically a super sweet fantasy romance and the other is like super dark and gory and spooky and kinda on the end of things I wouldn't even expect myself to like, but I liked anyway. So kinda two very opposite things. So the books are A Deal with the Elf King by Elise Kova and Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. And I actually have not quite finished Ninth House yet, but I have so little left I doubt my feelings on it will change in any way. Unless something crazy happens, anything future Texi will add my thoughts in. So Deal with the Elf King is about this girl Luella, who she's like a healer in her hometown and she's very dedicated to her job, and then that all kinda goes to shit when turns out she has magic and she's basically destined to be the wife of the Elf King because of that. Because the town has this weird deal with the elves that every 100 years they'll come pick up a new human queen, because that is tradition, and then it'll be explained later why exactly they need the human queen. The search for the newest human queen hadn't quite gone as planned because this asshole dude had hidden Luella's powers because he had spotted the magic before she even hadn't realized she had it, and gave her some kind of necklace that suppressed it. And I really hated that dude. But yeah, because of him they found her much later and she hadn't been prepared for the role at all, and no one was very happy about it, including her. But yeah, the Elf King takes her to the land of the elves and she has to not only figure out how to even use her magic, but also figure out what it is that she's supposed to be doing in the elf kingdom. And everyone seems to have these very specific expectations of her, and of course she doesn't meet them because she wasn't prepared, because usually the human queens are trained for it like before they even go there. And obviously Luella starts looking for ways to get out of it. She wants to be a healer. Like her town literally paid for her schooling for that, and now she feels like she's failing them. And I don't know, I really liked her as a character. I felt like she was very practical, like whenever someone in the castle is hurt or something and she's present, she's like puts her healer hat on and doesn't take any nonsense about it not being her job anymore or something. She's like, shut up, I'm gonna heal you now. She reminded me of Claire from Outlander a little bit. I think that's why I liked her a lot. And she also took no shit from the king. Like he's really rude to her at first and she actually just straight up calls him out on it. Like, I'm not gonna be treated this way, and if you're gonna want me to cooperate with you, you're gonna treat me better. And the king actually like takes that to consideration and he tries his best to not be an asshole from then on. And his right hand knight, whatever her role was, this character Rini, she also kinda gives him a talking to about that, because she kinda becomes friends with Luella, which was really nice because turns out she's also the king's ex. So I was worried there would be some kind of love triangle thing, but instead she becomes good friends with Luella because Luella kinda insists. She's like, well, I'm gonna be here for a long time, we should get along. It was really nice. I like that they developed like an actual friendship thing, and I really liked how the Elf King and Luella's romance developed as well, since they kinda eventually grow this mutual respect for each other, but also once they do start getting together, Luella is a bit uncertain about it because she's not sure if it's just some kind of magic attraction, because I guess their powers kind of complement each other because they're like life and death kind of thing. so she's not certain that the thing isn't just magic telling them what to do and not actually their feelings, and she wants to be certain that it's like actually real. I just really enjoyed the romance a lot, even though it wasn't like the best written book in the world. Like when I first read the first couple of chapters, I was like, oh no, this isn't well written at all. Like, is this going to suck? But it got better, way better. So I wouldn't judge the book too harshly based on the first couple of chapters at least. Because I think the problem was that the author tried to like stuff all the world building in the first couple of chapters so the reader knows what's up, and it just wasn't done very naturally. But once the story gets rolling, it was really enjoyable fantasy romance. I don't think it's anything like super special, but I really enjoyed it, so I gave it 5 stars. Because it made me happy. Also, I think the sex scenes in it were very good because they weren't like super grossly detailed like some sex scenes can be. It was like tasteful smut. So I really liked those scenes too. So yeah, if you are looking for a little happy read basically, I would recommend A Deal with the Elf King definitely. I think I'd like to check out more books by the author too. Apparently A Deal with the Elf King is a standalone, even though the cover says it's like Married to Magic Book 1 or something. But the other books are gonna be like companions, so they just take place in the same world but don't follow the same characters. And then we can move on to Ninth House, which is like the total opposite of sweet. Where do I even begin with this one? I've never read any books by Leigh Bardugo before, so this is my first. And it's definitely not a genre that I usually go for very much, because it's kinda like more on the horror side a little bit. I actually thought it would be more like a thriller, which I guess it is because it's a murder mystery, but also there's ghosts and dark magic stuff. Well, the whole book is actually really dark. It has a huge list of trigger warnings if you go looking. I'll insert the whole list here, but the TLDR would be that there's a few rape scenes, so if that's something you're sensitive to, definitely don't read this. And also there's just gore, and also, well, the main character used to be a drug addict. I was kinda low-key scared because of the long list of questionable stuff too, but turns out it's a really good book. I've been really enjoying it, and it wasn't like too much of a horror for me to handle. I actually don't think it's scary at all, actually, which is funny. So it's about this girl, Alex Stern. Her full name is Galaxy, which I think is kinda silly, but she goes by Alex. And like I said, she used to be a druggie, and her thing is that she can see ghosts, or they are called greys in the book. And after this freak accident that leads to a bunch of people dying, and she's the only one who survived, she is invited to join this secret society type thing called Leith at Yale. And yeah, she basically gets to go to Yale for free. Like, Leith pays for a scholarship for her and stuff, and she gets to basically pretend to be a student there, except she's actually a student. And her actual job for Leith is basically, the Leith's job is to keep the other secret societies at Yale kinda in their place, like make sure they don't do stupid stuff with their magic, because they deal with very powerful stuff and they could do a lot of damage if they got stupid. Yeah, Alex helps this guy called Darlington with like attending the rituals and making sure the ghosts, the greys, don't cause havoc during the rituals and stuff like that. And then Darlington disappears and this girl gets murdered and Alex has to figure out what happened, and that's the plot basically. It was really interesting because Yale had like 8 secret societies that deal with different types of magic. Like there was one that specializes in like glamour stuff, and then there's one that's all about like contracts, and then there was this one that does some really gross future readings or something. I don't even know. And portal magic and all that kind of stuff. It's just really interesting, so that alone kept me really curious, even though the book started kind of slow and confusing. But once I started kind of understanding how things work there, it was a wild ride, and I really enjoyed the characters. Like Alex is really funny because she has kind of a dark humor and she's very sarcastic, and I like that. And I enjoy her interactions with the other characters a lot, and her whole thing with being able to see the grays and learning kind of how it affects her and what she can do with that later on is really interesting, and at first really scary, because imagine like knowing you can see something that other people can't, and knowing that they actually can harm you if you look at them wrong, basically. And that sounds terrifying. And she didn't like know how to make them go away until she got to join Leet and they taught her, and she was just kind of like, would have been nice if you talked to me earlier. Basically. Yeah, Ninth House is really cool. I don't even know what to say really other than that. Like, if you can handle all the dark stuff in it, definitely check it out, because whoa. Like, once the story started really rolling with Alex, like investigating the murder stuff on her own, things just got wild, and it's really hard to stop reading. That's why I almost finished it last night, but according to Kindle I still had an hour and a half left, which is like 15%, but yeah, it was 5 AM, so I had to stop. So I'm pretty sure I'll finish it like tonight. So yeah, if I have anything to add after that, I will edit that in. Future Texie will explain. Hi from Editing Texie. All I really have to add to the Ninth House bit is that somehow Leigh Bardugo managed to stuff like 3 different plot twists in the last 15%, but my opinion still remains that it was 5 out of 5. Super good book, would recommend. I was really surprised how much I have been enjoying it. Like, the book has made me laugh multiple times, which I don't know if it makes me a bad person or if the book just has a great sense of humor that works for me. But yeah, I thought it could be fun to kind of talk about 2 very different books in one video. Which one would you rather pick up? Or will you do both like me? Yeah, I hope you like these kind of mini book reviews. I definitely wanna do stuff like this more when I feel like it, when I actually finish books. Ninth House is gonna be actually only my 3rd finished book this year, so I'm being kinda slow. But yeah, I hope you guys like this video, and definitely check these books out if they sound interesting to you. Make sure to subscribe, and thanks for watching. Bye!